9:30. I decided to open up a little bit early so we can meet. I am gonna start the session. Very much welcome. These are weird times, and I decided to, well, jump in and see where we can help each other in. And there's so many things that we, well, maybe not know, but how can we help each other? That's what this session about. This week I was supposed to be in Australia still, and I flew back, so I was supposed to, this week was already not a working week, so I decided to give back. And I think it's important. There's so many people I work with the last years, so this week for me, that's what's going to be. So what can you expect? I'm going to share my screen and the presentation I created for you. Let's see. I'm gonna, you're here. I'll have a see and to see if people are still there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute you all. Just for you to know, you can later unmute yourself if you want to have a conversation. But yesterday also somebody had a dog and it was barking, so it was kind of disturbing. So I've unmuted you. Well, welcome. How to amplify CX leaderships in times of Corona. Let's be honest, it's a crazy time. We all live in a world of uncertainty. Things are progressing really rapidly. And I think it's time in our companies as CX leaders, we have to step up, but how? And that's, well, an interesting question. Feel free if you have any questions to also share them in the chat. For now, I decided, I think, welcome aboard. I thought it's time for a lifeline. We don't know the truth, and let's create it together. What to expect now? I've got some Zoom manifesto rules. I unmuted you all. If you want to contribute and have a conversation or share your insights or actions you undertook, unmute yourself when you want to contribute. Of course, otherwise it's only me talking. I would really appreciate that. I hope you can find that button. It's that button that has the microphone with a slash through it. So you can unmute yourself. If you want to be visible, be welcome. You can put your video on. A lot of people are now little black squares with a name on it. That's also really nice. And if you just came in and you want to introduce yourself, would be nice in the chat. The chat is also there to learn together. So we'll have a conversation in that. There's some polls that I put in. They are anonymous. I think it's good to see what things are doing, but know that I cannot see who answered what. It would be nice if we have a conversation later. A maximum of an hour. Yesterday we had a conversation of an hour. So let's see how that will work out. Yeah, then a little bit weird, but I don't know everybody. Well, most people I know, but maybe not everybody. My name is Nienke Bloem, CCXP, and since last weekend also CSP. CXP, Certified Customer Experience Professionals. There's more in the room of that are CCXPs, and CSP, Certified Speaking Professionals. What do I know about CX? I think it's a good question. What's my authority in the workplace? I was responsible for customer experience within the Dutch incumbent telco in 2012, 2015. And we really worked with the team and managed to get NPS from -2 up to +14. And I learned a lot about CX. And now for the last 5 years, I grew my own business as a professional speaker. I fell into the teaching education area. I'm one of the 10 people that are RTPs from the CXPA. And I've helped many customers on their route through customer centricity in customer experience management. And that's also why I decided to give back. So these sessions are not to do anything about sales. So no, it's just what can we do? And I think it's important to step up. And I want to help you do that because your companies and your customers need that. I'm going to see what's happening in the chat a little bit. So many more people are coming in. Wow, incredible. So happy you're all here. Sounds weird, but I do. It's good to learn together. Hux from Norway, Robin from France. So it's a real European and a Middle East. We've got somebody from Kuwait. I think important, what's the impact of Corona on CX? What I see, of course, the financial impact, the market shares have gone down 2/3 in just a week. Let's see, I think luxurious product sales will go down. Let's have a look in travel industry. There's going to be no flights. Contact centers are overwhelmed. And let's see how you are doing. So I created a couple of polls, and I would like to ask you these two questions. There's two. The impact on CX is positive in my company. What do I mean with that? What if you are director of Zoom? Well, everybody's now getting new Zoom business, right? So there are companies that are getting a positive from it. Neutral, well, kind of not big or small, and negative. And the second question, so you can fill this out, please. You can vote. The impact of Corona has on my company on a scale of 1 to 5. It has nothing at all, slightly impacted, impact, huge impact, monstrous, total chaos. I decided to just put it in. Please vote. I'll give it some time. If you don't want to vote, that's totally fine by me too, but it's good to see what's happening because, well, it's also a virtual world. I get the news and that's it. So it's good from you to hear. And I've had some calls with people. So let's see, 12 of you voted. I'll show later what the results are, of course. 52% of you has filled it out. I'll give it 10 more seconds to see what's going on. Wow. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to close the poll and I'm going to show you the results. 19 of you voted, and let's see what the impact is. You can see the results. So the impact on CX, 26% of the CX is a positive. Is there somebody in the room that would like to share upon this? On the positive part, you can unmute yourself and share your thoughts because it would be great to also see these elements. I see in the chat. Don't see the results. Oops. You all don't see it? Nope, nope, nope. All right. Let's see if I can do it different. Just a second. Share poll results. And these are... This is kind of what I'll do. Just a second. Sometimes what I'm going to share. So I'll take a picture and I'll share with you later. Just this is maybe kind of weird, but sometimes you have to do. It says here that the attendees are now viewing the poll results, but 26% says it's positive, 32% neutral, and 42% says a negative. So is there somebody who can share maybe on a positive what the impact is in your company? Is there somebody who likes to share? There's 5 people. You can unmute yourself if you want to. No? All right. Let's see the impact Corona has on CX in my company on a scale of 1 to 10. What we see is 0 says it has nothing at all. So 6 people, 32% says slightly impact. 42%, 8 people said it has impacted. 4% of 21% a huge impact, and monstrous total chaos is 1. Interesting. I'll try it one again. Do you see it now? I'll see in the chat. Yep, yep, yep. Oh, everybody's seeing it now. It needed something extra. All right, thank you. So now you can see it. I'd like to, is there anybody who would like to share on their answer what's happening in their company? I'll see if I'll unmute all and let's see if somebody wants
to. I can tell a bit. It's Ramona from Holland.
Yeah.
Nog meer hoor.
Yeah, please share, Ramona. I unmuted you all, so know that if you're going to talk now, then unmute yourself. Mute yourself. So Ramona, can you share with us?
Nienke?
Yeah?
Nienke, do you hear?
Yes.
Okay. This is Ramona from Holland.
Yeah.
And I work for a central here. It's an insurance company, and we work at home with all yeah, all the employees. So
Yeah.
more than 10,000 people are working from home.
Yeah.
And there's also the call agents. And it's our buildings are empty now.
Yeah.
And it's going rather good. It's impressive.
Yeah.
Our clients have to wait a bit longer at phones and all that
Okay.
kind of thing. But
So
it's communicate.
waiting lines are longer.
Yeah, a bit longer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
not impressive.
Okay. Are there others? One more person would like to share?
Yeah, I would like to. We also have now
Can you,
pretty much.
for
Hi,
us to
this
know
is
it?
Ana Luisa. Yes,
Ana
and I
Luisa.
work in a company where we do HR and payroll
Okay.
support. We are the partners for lots of different companies, different sizes. We are seeing that SMEs are being affected very, very heavily already now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of questions. And because we're in different countries, there's a lot of legal questions. So each team has to reply with their expertise. And typically the operations people, the first lines, are never work from home colleagues.
Yeah.
So this is the first time that they are working from home. Our VPN bandwidth is actually at full capacity. So everything is going fine, but customers have to wait a lot for answers because there's not enough people, and we're starting to have also some people that are sick.
Yeah.
So there's a combination of the habits of people, the people that work with the clients directly,
Yeah.
the technology and the systems that we have, as well as just the complexity of the questions that we are receiving.
I can
So
also imagine that things are changing really fast, right? So the legal things. And so thank you very much. We're going to continue. I'm going to stop sharing the results. I'm going to mute you for a second again so we can have a conversation on this element. I'll always have to little bit want Peter, I'll admit. Hey Peter, welcome to the call. I'm going to mute you all just for a second again. The impact is big, and I see it's good to also have a conversation about that within your company, what's happening. I thought what I see, and I want to share a little bit of wisdom about customer emotions. And I think it's something that we are in organizations not really good at. And especially in these times, we have to really understand what is happening out there. And I decided to share the Plutchik emotion wheel. I don't know if you already know it, but I used it for the first time in a customer journey mapping session with Danny Peters. And I think it's interesting. It's not just happy, unhappy. I see somebody is saying, yes, know it very well. Yeah, it's a very interesting because it gives a different, it has variations in emotions. And I think we should know what's happening out there, not only with our customers, but also with our employees. And I think at this moment, there are a lot of negative feelings. Well, you cannot really label, but know that fear, like the yellow, the green, terror, fear, but also grief, sadness. And I think what I see, people are getting uncertain, and so they're also getting angry, annoyed and angry. So a lot of emotions which are normally very in the low area, so more in the end of these little star elements, are now in the center. So they're bigger. So the impact of these emotions we'll see in our contact centers. And I think it's good for you to share this in your company and to see what's happening. Do you know what this is called? Yes, it's called the emotion wheel of Plutchik. I'll type it in. You can Google it. There's a lot of knowledge on it. I think it's very important to be aware, especially in the customer contact area. I watched the news this morning, and especially there's some people of the Netherlands that are stuck, for example, in Peru, and the lady said, I cannot reach the airline, and I'm going totally crazy. It's her own uncertainty and fear, and it will be projected on our companies, right? So it's good to know. And it's, well, Ana Luisa says, we have a program that helps us work with negative emotions. At this moment, this will happen. So it's good, I think, for us to see that and to know what's going on. What I also see is the challenges that we have as a CX leader. And I decided they're both outside in and inside out. And I'm curious, I'm going to have a little poll. I'm going to have the second poll. Where are your biggest challenges? Are they inside out in the organization from your role? Or are they much more outside in with the customers and partners? So I would really like to know, where are your biggest challenges? Are they in the customer arena or more on the internal arena? Please share. It's interesting to know where our challenges are. So we're having already 8 votes. You can also imagine maybe it's a difficult question. I'll have a look in the chat. Most important is open space, leader, cope. Yeah. Stephanie, thank you very much. It is very important. And Pascal says both. Yeah, I decided to make you choose. So I can imagine it is on both sides. And I want to talk to you about both because it is important. And I see the uncertainty on the inside out. And also, I choose customer. Thank you, Anna. I'm going to give it 10 more seconds for you to vote. You don't have to vote, of course, but it's good for us to know what is happening. 5. I find it weird to count down. I'm going to end the polling and share it, and I hope you can see it. Could somebody say if they see it or not? Choose customer. Yeah. Yes, you see. Perfect. Great. I think it's interesting. We see that 39% says it's on the inside of the companies and 61% on the outside. I'm curious, I'm going to unmute you for a second. And I'm curious for you that if you can share, one of you, what is it that, what are your challenges? Who would like to share? Somebody maybe we didn't hear yet?
Linke, this is Gerda.
Gerda, yeah. Could you speak a little bit in the microphone?
Oh, I will do my best. Is this better?
Yeah.
Is it better?
Yeah, and maybe you have to shout a little bit.
Oh. Okay. I have a kid running around here as well, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we all know those challenges, I guess.
Yeah, the challenges with small children are a little bigger for the ones that have children of 21 years. They're having a place on their own. Yeah.
True. Anyway, our challenges right now are regards the change process pretty much. You see that people really would like to see each other in the eye, discussing important subjects to improve customer experience, of course. And now we actually cannot look each other in the eye, and you do not want to have very thorough discussions through Skype because that gets a little bit messy. So that is actually slowing down things a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's what I see, there's I think 2 phases. There's now the firefighting thing. What is happening now? We have to, think of customers, and we have to really, be in the here and now. And there will be the firefighting later. We have to get our change on order. Are there people having big challenges on the customer part that would like to share and how they deal with it from the customer experience perspective?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, it's Anna here. The challenges that we're facing at the moment is trying to make sure we're looking after our employees, making sure that they are aware of what's going on in terms of communication and being really transparent. And I think what's happened is that the business has gone from following protocol, making sure we send out emails, but then I think having a more human and personal touch now is what we're seeing in our communications. But as well as that, trying to make sure we're running our business. We're a property consultancy firm, so we have to do a lot of face-to-face, and we've seen a decline in customers wanting to do that. So viewings and market appraisals have basically come to a halt. But our offices are still open. And so at the moment, I think the business is thinking, how long do we keep our offices open for? And I think it's imminent that they will close, but we're still trying to run our business effectively. We're a really old business, so we're not used to working from home. And so that's a really big challenge for us to make sure that our infrastructure works so we can still provide a service and also keep morale up for our employees.
Yeah, it's there are big challenges. I'm gonna stop sharing the result and mute you in a second because we had this conversation also yesterday. And mute all. I'm getting handy in this. I think it's interesting. What I see is on the outside in, I think there's a lot of communication going on, and the challenges are how to communicate in a good way. And I don't know how it's with you, but I've received a lot of emails from companies on Corona or COVID-19. I find it also interesting. A lot of companies choose COVID-19 and use very distant language. Well, I got an email from TUI, one of the travel companies here in the Netherlands, and I thought that tone of voice fitted really well. So I think an outside-in perspective, communicate, be honest and transparent about what's happening. I think it's so important, but also for us as CX leaders, step up and help out. On an outside-in perspective, what I also see is that, especially in the B2B, to manage expectations. It is important to tell that what I also saw, for example, in the travel industry, we will not be able to answer calls. Yesterday, Peter Elbers, CEO of KLM, he was on Op1. It's the new show that is like the bigger ones. And he was just honest. He says, normally we have 20,000 call and 20,000 social media interactions. In these days, we have 200,000 of both. So this is the truth. So please, customers, if it's not urgent, well, hold on. So I think that's interesting. Also, try to see what you can do, especially in the B2B. I see much more personal contact, and I think customers would really like that. So that's important. Know that on the inside out, there's also that communication issue. And I also think for us, we have some other challenges that are coming up. And I decided to use the wheel that we also use and the methodology for CX management. These are the 6 pillars of the CX framework. If you or CCXP, you know it. If you followed our masterclass, you know it. And I thought I would like to talk about the challenges on all the 6 ones, and the 7th one is the role. But let's see on a CX strategy. What is the story you are telling now? Are you taking the lead? Are you helping people along? Are you, well, and I think especially if you have already defined your brand promises or your customer promises, how can you implement them now even better? I think in these times we have to deliver on our promises even more than we did before. Anna asks if we can have this presentation. Yes, you can. I'll have to find a way to share it. Maybe you send me, I'll write it down. I'll come back to it later. So in strategy, I think this is the moment to deliver on your promises even better. So it's also to motivate the people around us and give guidance. On CX Insights, this afternoon, I'll host a session how to really listen to customers. I think sending out surveys right now with your normal things, and let's be honest, most surveys are really awful anyway, not looking any, there should be more empathy and just, we want to know what you thought of us. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more this afternoon, but I think how to really listen to your customer in this time, how to show empathy, how to get the voice of the employee, very important. And a challenge right now, because normally you could go to a call center. Now everybody's working from home, which I also understood from all Acmea people. Everybody's working from home. How do you get their voice of the employee? We need to step up. Measurement. Interesting. What is going to happen to NPS? What is going to happen to CSAT? What is happening to sales? All these metrics. I think it is up to us to see what's happening, what our impact, what can we do, what are people saying. It is, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think NPS will go up. People won't, when you're in fear, you will rate things different. But it's also maybe time, I don't know what your things are. How will you measure NPS when no surveys are being sent? Interesting. Maybe you can send it, but have a different tone of voice. So maybe change the way you approach it. Do you think we should send surveys? Yes. I think it's an interesting, what do you want as a company? What is your standing point in this point of view? I think you should have a choice. If you are, and you are sending out surveys, I think it's now even more important than ever that you close your loop and get back on it. So if you will, please act on it. Hi, not everyone is working from home. Be aware in B2B, big production processes, people still has to be on site. Yes, I agree. Thank you very much for sharing, Cindy. Especially in that time, you can still get your voice of the employee. in CX design, and this is really interesting, especially what you said, Gerda, on change process. When you're going to do customer journey mapping sessions, of course, in these weeks, everybody's just trying to stick together, keeping it together. But what's going to happen in 2 weeks? How are you going to host your sessions when maybe you can be in the office, but what if countries go into lockdown and you cannot? How are you going to lead from a virtual space? I'm going to have a session on that on Friday. Don't have all the knowledge, so please help in that area. But I think in pillar number 4 in CX design, closing the loop. This is a moment, could be your strategy that you pick, that you say from now on, we're really going to close the loop. If people send in our feedback, we're going to act on it. So that could be a very good strategy, I think, to really connect better with your customers. The organization part, very interesting. Do you maybe now have crisis teams where customer cases are discussed? Are they needed? I don't know. How can you engage with stakeholders and step up being responsible for the customer? I think right now you should. I think it's important to really show and engage with all the leaders. I'll have an idea of that later. And culture, this is the moment to keep the spirit up. And when people get sick, this is a moment to give guidance, what is expected, what is not expected, to help people give answers, share stories. And then we go into your CX role. So these are challenges I see, and I think they're very, well, legit to see how you're gonna work in that. And how to amplify your CX leadership role. I'm curious, I was thinking, if I would be responsible for CX right now in a company, what would I do? Well, I'm going to be honest, I have an own company. I needed to step up for my people. I have 2 people that work with me and work for me. What am I going to do? How am I going to reach out to my customers? So we created a framework for that. But I'm curious if you would like to share with me as a CX leader, only if you want to, in the chat, what were your first actions when these things happened as a leader? What did you do? So please, I would love to see your actions written out in the chat if you would like to. I'm waiting for your responses if you are willing to share. I'll have a sip of water. This, or you didn't do anything, but I don't think that's true. Oh, we informed our customers how to best deal with the current situation. That's a good idea. I'm curious, Oki, customer success, did you do that by email or by phone, or how did you do that? So I'm curious if you want to share. So we get some answers in. We informed our customers. We gathered stakeholders and decide on how we will manage this for employees and customers. Anna contacted major customers, check if they were okay or needed anything different. Pascal shared. We asked everybody to share a picture from their home office. That's also a really nice one. That was also said yesterday. Omnichannel, okay, thank you very much. We researched other brands as well. It's also interesting to have a look around, right? See, what are other people doing? What would fit us? What gives me a good feeling? Whoa, look, all these brandjes blussen. Rosanna said, yeah, firefighting, ensuring each quarter employees volunteer for social media team, making sure all tickets are changeable. Yes, very important in the travel. Being a role model. I love that. Yesterday, we also had a lot of people that were in B2B, and they had account management call all customers to say to them. And I thought that was also a very interesting element. I think there's a different, whether you're B2B, B2C, or even working, for example, in a government agency. Yeah, B2C, you have to communicate to many, and B2B, it's often a little less. So you can have maybe a more personal touch. Alex, I'm arranging an online session with an external speaker on CX topic for our CX ambassadors at Crump and keep the spirit up regularly on our internal personal perspective. Yeah, great. Yeah, I like it, Alex. You also have your ambassador program, which really runs well. So it's really great. This is your moment to step up, right? And Stephanie says, I opened a new personal Insta channel showing how I deal with this crisis. Yeah, I think it's really good. you can do it from a personal leadership perspective. Yesterday I also said, oh, we're really doing it well. Everybody's working from home. We're sharing pictures. Yes, that is nice in the first week. But what if we're going to be in our virtual offices, and maybe you are in other offices? That won't last like for weeks, right? So you need to really step up. I thought about how to amplify your leadership role. What would I do? And I think in the masterclass, we think, what is your role? And we share these 3 strategies. And I think it's still very valid. It would be nice if it would show up. Yeah, I think our role in a normal situation, be a publisher. Tell stories, not numbers. It's your goal to connect people to data. It is our role to share stories, whether we are working on site or working here. It's now important what's happening there. We need to step up in our communication and maybe share some numbers, but also the stories behind it. Walk around, understand what makes people tick. Maybe you can still walk around and go to a contact center when people are there, or you're in an office, but make sure that you see what's happening there. And I think at this moment, showing empathy would be a very, very good strategy, because you just don't know what's in the head and the minds of people. I want to share my personal situation. My fiance, he is sick. He has corona. We cannot live together now because he's sick. He's doing pretty okay. He has a mild, but it's weird. So it gives a certain feeling of uncertainty. And that is part of me. And there will be people in your company too that have that, and how to deal with that. It's complicated. And the third part is be a psychologist, create a mental framework. And this is what I'm going to talk about in the next one, is how are you going to lead? How are you going to take people to the next step? And I think it's important to have a good CX story right now, and to help your people in your teams, but also in other teams, to what are we going to do with regards to customers. Anna-Louise says, I'm walking around via Skype, asking colleagues from different services and asking them what they're doing, how they're doing, and what they need to help. I think it's really good to ask, but I think also there comes a moment you need to lead. And that's what I'm going to talk about now, is how to stand up in this amplify your role. And I think there's 3 things to do: listen, lead, and engage. And I'm going to fill it out with all examples. Listen. This is maybe weird, but I like the personal leadership one of you shared with us. Keep calm and be mindful. I was at the conference last Saturday, and there was a keynote speaker, and he said, especially in the speaker world, let's be honest, all our engagements are canceled. That's a big hit. Also for me, no more teaching, nothing. And I'm the lucky one that has a buffer, and I'm already in there for a longer run. But there are people that are stressed. So how to keep calm? And I think important, keep calm, be mindful. He did a mindfulness exercise. And I think at this time for us as leaders, this is really the moment to keep your helicopter view. So this is the first one. You can only listen when you are centered. When there's fear going on, it will be difficult. The second one is listen to the customer. And I think in this part, whether it's surveys, but there's many more things you can do. This afternoon, we're going to go really deep dive in how to listen to customers, how to work on your voice of the customer program with what's happening now and how to act on it. But this is a moment to really see, hear, listen what's going on. Also with your employees, listen to the customer, voice of the customer. I also want to add the voice of the employee. Then lead. This is maybe something what we do in the masterclass. I think it's very important. The things could be that you're clutter in your head, and it could be a little bit full. So I would really like to challenge you to visualize. Write things down, structure, work with Post-its, see what's going on. What are your fears? What are solutions? What is happening? So you can see things, because only thinking, I don't think it will really, really help you. See, people are saying. Sigrid said, I sent a thank you message to our customer service. Yes, very, very good. The second one is lead, create scenarios. There's a really interesting article of Matt Watkinson. I'm going to share later. He published it on LinkedIn. This is also the moment to get together, whether it's in the virtual world or in the real life world, with the most important stakeholders and think of scenarios you can think of. And what do I mean with that is you need to think what's happening, what can we do, what can we solve. I'm going to share his article because I think it was very, very valuable. And this is also a time to step up and take that leadership moment. What is happening? What if this might happen? What will we do? So don't only think in problem, solution, problem, different solutions. And it would be great if you could do that with more people than just one. Yeah, Mural is a great tool. We're going to talk about that Friday. Create a mental framework. This is interesting. I think it is important that that this is the moment to guide the organization. So when, well, people will look at you and you're like, what are we going to do? One of my customers reached out to me yesterday and asked me if I could help her out. She says, people are asking, what are we going to do now? And we created a mental framework where we used the firefighting, fire prevention. So she says, what I'm doing now is helping you all in the firefighting phase to help our customers and our employees to get through the current situation, all questions, all elements. And the fire prevention part, later on, we're going to get back into our normal mode and we're going to change again. And she says, I needed that. Also, what we're going to do with our feedback. In my company, I created a mental framework about being fit, not only physical, but also fit for the future. And I use acronym FIT. F for being financial stable. I want my business to run. I, be interested. What's happening out there? Where can I help? And interesting to share, for example, these kinds of thoughts, make sure that I deliver value, and also with the team. And T is about toning, and you know these before and after pictures when you go for fitness. But my company, I worked crazy the last couple of years, and we've got some work to do on our own processes and administration. So this is also time to work on that. So I'm in September. That's my perspective for my business, that maybe things will be normal again a little bit in September, that we're going to go back there. So create this mental framework. My team also needed that. And I think your team and your company needs a mental framework where you can guide them. So if you want to have a talk with me about that, please feel free, because I think it's important that you lead in this part. I also write something down, make or find the truth. People that work with me know this, it's my own logic. Finding the truth won't happen because nobody knows what the truth is right now. So you have to make scenarios and you cannot ask others what will happen. So you have to take the lead. You have to make the truth right now in this. Claim time and make decisions. You are responsible for the customer in your company. Stand up and don't say, this is an issue, what should we do? No, this is an issue, these are scenarios, and I would like a decision on it. Help your company through these difficult times. Show and speak up. Maybe you cannot stand in front of a room like this picture is because people are in a digital age. What can you do through Zoom? What can you do through taping a video, for example? This is a moment where, well, you also share. So this is, I think, important. Of course, the senior leaders are there first, and I think you need to engage them. So listen, lead, engage. Before I continue, do you have questions on this? Do you have particular things that you would like to know or share? And please do that in the chat, so I'll have a look what you might have questions around. Take a moment of breath and quietness. And if somebody would like to speak up, also please do that. You could share an insight or something that you did. You've already answered so many of my questions already. Well, thank you, Anna Luisa. I'll just keep an eye on the chat to see what's going on. On the engage part, I thought how to really engage others right now. So you listen, you lead, and now you need to engage. And I think it is also time to put others and give space to the leaders, because they need to step up. Everybody's, let's be honest, everybody's looking at the CEO, at the CCO, at the CMO. What are we going to do? And Well, the thing is, we just wrote a book, and it's still there only in Dutch. So, well, for the Dutchies, you can read it, but well, you cannot see. We found 3 routes that we think that helps in this course. So, how engage leaders? And I'm going to share the English words, of course, and the denkers. And I thought I'll use the metaphor head, heart, hands. It's the head. So, how to use the 6 pillars of the framework. I think in an organization where there's a lot of customer feedback, where you have a lot of insights and where you know what customers now are. So use this voice of the customer, share metrics. So engage others around this. Share customer verbatim, share customer videos, show what metrics are doing, show reports, all these kinds of elements. The sharers, the dealers, it's more about the heart. This is the culture element. This is really about let leaders engage in customer calls. Let leaders visit elements. I think this is also an interesting one. I wanted to share this is an interesting one. I want to share an honest story of myself about this on culture. I remember working at KPN, and it was around Valentine's Day, and one of the agents had a really beautiful, in social media, she had a really beautiful chat with a customer. And she shared, so everybody talked about it, and I shared it on our intranet because I shared a lot of customer stories as a CX leader. That was one of the things I did. And it was Friday afternoon. A lot of our colleagues were typing underneath, "Hey, CEO, why are you not reacting?" And I was also at home, and I had a glass of wine, and I was a little bit complaining at my partner, and I said, "Well, why isn't he reacting?" And so he said to me, and he asked me, he said, "How should he know?" And I'm like, "He's got all these people from internal communication. They can do this, right?" And he said, "Yeah, but why don't you just ask him if he reacts?" And I'm going to be honest, it didn't even cross my mind. So I sent him an email. I said, "Hey, this is a post on our intranet, and it would be great if you could compliment the agent for her work." So on Sunday, I got a message back, and he gave her a compliment. And on Monday, everybody was like, "Oh, did you see the CEO reacted?" And I decided to stay quiet. I think this is also the moment to let others shine. So give leaders options that they can stand up. Maybe there are things they can do now, give compliments. We could really, really do that. Sigrid said, "I fear that in companies that were already struggling with the cultural pillar of CX will go back to their old behavior and choose for product centricity money because CX has still not proven ROI according to them." I think that is a fear that could be true. I hope not. I think especially when you look on this is also a moment to see what are customers doing, what are other companies doing that are stepping up, that are doing a good way. This is also a moment to, I think, log a lot. Log all things you see, what are customers saying, what are people doing, so you can use this data later. So maybe you cannot act a lot right now. In case that's the case, log a lot. Get your basic fundamentals right. But in the culture part, share, enable people. I think this is really where you let them take the stand. I'll see what you're saying in this chat. +1, everybody's like, boohoo, question. Okay, would be how does CX prove ROI? What metrics can we use to highlight shine? I think it's an interesting thing because that is really a different topic. I think, well, calculating ROI is a very important one. If you want to learn more, I think it would be a little bit too big of a topic, but for now, see what's happening. What is the call center costing you right now if you even deliver a bad customer experience? What would have helped if you maybe had scenarios in place? Because let's be honest, what's happening now is a black swan. Do you know the book Black Swan? I'm looking in my bookcase if I can see it right away. Just a second. It's always interesting. This is the book Black Swan, and the Black Swan, it's interesting right now, and especially for the people, for the scenario that I want to share, it's the hands, heart, head, hands. These are the people that want to act. So act on your voice of the customer, act on your, but the people that are more in the acting, in the design, in the hands phase, they probably have some scenarios that are more rainy day. And Black Swan, this book, lets you research what might happen, the small things that might happen that will have a huge impact. Let's be honest, 9/11, the chances it would happen was very small, but the impact was very big. This corona, the chances it would happen, very small, impact very big. So this is also interesting to help others to see, are there maybe other black swans that are there? ROI, I think ROI on black swans, incredibly difficult to, but you need to get some basics right. I know, for example, there are some teams that have really good analytics people, really dive deep in the analytics, what's happening now. So, but these are ways to engage leaders. Do you have examples? Yesterday, there was somebody in our call who said, well, we don't see our leaders a lot right now. I don't know, is that also what's happening in your company, or are they really stepping up? Are they showing up? Probably session useful on ROI on this topic. Yeah, I think we should do a session on ROI, I think, but in this, okay, +1, all right. Well, we're gonna see. Good leaders are showing up, I hear. Same here, most HR communicating, but not the board. Yeah, probably senior. I'm not gonna share everything with everybody. I think it's important that we help our leaders in this. How can they also engage with customers? I don't know, but think of strategies. Be active, and you could choose the 3 routes. Sharing verbatim, so that's really more helping them engage. Let them share stories, really connect with them. Make sure, what I really found touching yesterday at the TV program where Peter Elbers was, there was a flight attendant, and she sang a song for everybody. That is something that is culture. It's in your heart and it makes you feel and warm. And the doers are working on customer feedback, getting back on customers, are continuing, what are we going to do with these rainy day scenarios, or helping out. This is a moment where you're much more operational. I think in 2 weeks from now, we're going to get back to tactical too. So you need to step up. I'm going to look in the chat what's going on. I think it's important. What are the next steps for our customers, teams, and leaders? Zoom meeting, CEO is putting meeting outs for the whole organization. I think it's important. So in case you miss this, what to do? I think it's important to ask, not be hostile. I'm going to be honest, in my KPN time, I was like, why isn't the CEO doing anything? But I didn't enable him. So this is I think we have to help out. HR is actively communicating, but other managers are focused on business continuity. I think it's also good if we know that business continuity is a part that leaders are busy with it, right? But maybe we can step up and do something on the customer part. Well, we talked a little bit about internal communication, and I have some ideas. Work with corporate comm and internal communication. I see that a lot of corporate communication is always looking for messaging, is always looking for content. If you have customer content, share it. Get it, share it. Share sentiment from customers. This is a moment that you can. Give compliments. I think this is important in my FIT strategy, being financially stable, interesting. Every day I reach out to one of my clients and I give them a compliment, or one of my partners. I think it's to support each other a little bit. And I think on the internal side, it would be great if we could give some compliments to people that are working their butt offs. And you could do it visibly, where it's for everybody, or do it behind the scenes. I'm doing it invisible. I think it's more on a personal level, but I think everybody should choose their own strategy, but giving praise to those that deserve it. In the Netherlands, we clapped yesterday, the day before on 8 o'clock, everybody standing on balconies and outside and clapping for health professionals. I think those things really work. Yeah, if possible, engage with colleagues. Zoom is, of course, a brilliant way. A lot of companies are having like a collective Zoom moment where everybody's drinking coffee. I think it's good to engage, to see if you can get some maybe MP3s from your contact center to share. Yeah, and be honest and empathetic in tone. This is both internal as external. I've seen some aggressive parts that were like, we cannot do this, we cannot do that. That's not the time. And maybe you have some ideas what you could share in the internal communication. I don't know if you have it. I'm going to have a look in the chat. CEO of Austrian Airlines. He does a great job. Yeah, I also saw a message out from Salesforce CEO, the one of Freshworks, also really good. I think it's good to see these great stories and also what we are sharing, right? For me, this is a little bit the end of the session, and I wanted to share how to amplify your CX leadership role. Listen to your colleagues, listen to what's happening, lead. I think, Alex, what you shared, that you have a speaker that is going to speak to ambassadors. If you want me to help you out, please let me know. I'm very much willing to. And engage. If you can put these three, and I think leading, create this mental framework. What are you saying to your company right now where you take the lead? I think this is very important. Create a story where people can hold on to. My team really likes the FIT ID and the things that we're doing, because it's also activities beneath it. It would be great if you have that too. Do you have questions on this or suggestions that you would like to talk about? Because I'm gonna unmute you all. That would be great to have some voice. I unmuted you, so in case of there's a lot of things going on, somebody's even having a call.
No, I will do. Thank you so much. I mean, what's really great about having this time is that I'm doing lots of research, not just for the presentation, but just on how brands are responding to the virus and what they're doing to build connections with their customers. So it's really interesting to see how lots of different brands are doing different things. And yeah, it's a great time to kind of see how leaders are really leading and how business are going to perform over the next few months.
Yeah, I don't know. There got to be a lot of people. A lot of companies will have a really tough financial time.
Yeah.
I think we should be, as CX leaders, it's great that we connect with each other, and know that in the CXPA forum is a really great place to connect. Please also feel free to just reach out, because these 2 weeks I decided to dedicate to the community. I have some spaces that I booked for half hours. If you want to have like a rescue line, I created these half hours. Please feel free to tune in and ask me.
I've been doing some research. I sent it across yesterday to the business. I think that we need to be discussing what we're doing for our customers. We've done like the normal things like communications and stuff, but it's what can we be doing for our communities?
Yeah, I think it's also
practically every high street, so we could use our teams in that area to support people who are vulnerable. So it's just an idea that we're playing around with at the moment. So that's why I was doing my research. So things like Pret was one of the examples I used, but supermarkets who are offering up extra opening hours or delivery slots for elderly people. Netflix have started this party package, which is when you're in isolation, in order for you to still, collaborate with other people, you can watch a film with your friends and then talk together throughout the film.
It's also a moment that we see that a lot of creativity.
So there's lots of things, like I've seen BMW, their social media campaign is really human and personalised. So lots of brands are up in the ante on how they're being human. So, showing their tone through their tone of voice and their language, what empathy is really shining through.
Yeah. Thank you. Peter, would you like to?
Things like that. So we're just looking at what we can do, and I think the business it's all kind of what can we do for our teams first and foremost. So from the inside out, and then once we kind of understand how our teams can support our customers, it's okay. Let's focus on our customers and what we can do for them.
Thank you very much.
There's no strategy. It's just people are kind of here and now, what do we need to do? But I think we do need to have some kind of strategy.
Thank you. I think you need to step up. For me, it's really know that there are some spots in my agenda for tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday. If you want to have half hour of a chat, it's just me giving back. I am curious, was it valuable? So I'm just always, was it valuable this? I'm just going to be honest, because I'm just trying out and seeing my way. I would love for you. What's important for me is that we need to step up. So me giving you a boost.
Just on that,
Just a second, Anna, just a second.
Follow other supermarkets for customers, and then I've seen Asda's like 24, 48 hours behind them.
Yeah.
So they've just today sent.
I'm really sorry, Anna, but I don't know if you could hear me or not, but I think there's so many more people that also would like to attribute a little bit. I'm curious for your opinion. I've got 7 of 19 that just shared with us. They're valuable.
Yeah.
Okay, and maybe some other people got an insight that we've not heard yet.
Where are you based? Whereabouts?
In the Netherlands.
Kent.
Yeah, so 9 people said very nice.
Not too far then.
No. But Anna, I'm just going to mute you a second because we have many more people that are in the call. And see, there's 10 people. Most of them said
that's
very
great.
Nice.
That's really good.
So for me, I'm going to end the poll. Thank you very much. 10 people voted. I'm actually very proud. Thank you. I'm going to share the results. 2 people say, brilliant. Now know what to do, feel inspired. 3 said, liked it, got an idea out of it. And 4, very nice, gave me direction and some ideas. If I can do one thing, please step up. Choose a mental framework, and let's all be there for each other. I see some things. Thanks for the inspiration. Looking forward to sharing your video with our senior leadership. I will tape it. It will be also on YouTube later. Can I share your input in my network? Yes, of course. What I will do, I will create this presentation as a slide share, and we'll share it through LinkedIn. So know that later today it will be there. And it would be great if you could do anything on that. That will be it for me. This afternoon, we're going to have one on voice of the customer, how to really listen better. And tomorrow, CX in the virtual world, how to lead, because it's kind of sometimes maybe difficult. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop the session. See you in the afternoon. Thank you, Stephanie. Have a really great day. Stay safe, and